Good morning, everyone. I'm wearing blue velvet and gold heels. Today's going to be a good day. As Lamar said, my name is Erin Whelan. I use she, her pronouns, and I am immensely proud and honored to serve as SMYAL's Executive Director. Let me begin with gratitude. I want to echo Lamar's praise for our incredible staff. In a year that has tested us all, their brilliance, dedication, and compassion have been a constant source of strength and inspiration. And thank you for choosing to gather us in a time when so much in our world seeks to isolate and separate us, to convince us that we are alone. It means everything to be in this room and feel the power of connection. It's not every day that you get to have brunch with 900 of your closest friends. Over the past few years, as I've gotten to know so many of you, I have felt a deep connection to people in this room. Even though this ballroom is big and buzzing, I often feel as if we are in a dining room together, seated around a large table where many of you have shared with me the ways your life connects to SMYAL's mission. You've told me the stories of who you were as a young person, the mentors who made a difference, the chosen family who has carried you along, and the youth today who inspire you. If you look to the person to your right and your left, even if you've never met them before today, know that we are all here for a reason. Think of this as the DMV's biggest family brunch. And when I think about family brunch, I can't help but think of my own family table. Every holiday, we squeeze around that bustling, busy table, food for days, kids running around, and plenty of laughter. We devour in 10 minutes what took hours to prepare, and then we just visit, as we say in the South. The conversation bounces all over, from teasing to tenderness, from old stories to new ones, with at least one person, who shall not be named, telling a story we're not entirely sure is completely true. But what makes it special is this: the table is always open to whatever anyone needs to bring. That's what makes it home. And just like at that table, what we share here isn't only our joys, it's our hardships too. So this afternoon, at this table we all share, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the weight that many of us are carrying. When we last gathered all together, we were weeks away from an election whose results have already had devastating consequences on our community, especially here in the DMV, especially for queer and trans youth, and especially for the family SMYAL works alongside. Now bear with me for a moment. As most of you know, I am a therapist. I know grief isn't always the emotion we want to sit with, but to me, grief is a reminder. It tells us that we have lost something we loved, or that we fear something we cherish. Whether that's safety, dignity, security, or our rights, grief signals that what's at stake is precious. And these last few months, we have felt it all. Rage at the cruelty, shock at the speed of change, sorrow at the losses, fear of what may be coming, and yes, grief at what has already been stripped away. This week especially, the fear and grief have been sharpened as this administration has escalated moves that directly threaten First Amendment rights. Using labels of political violence and domestic terrorism, they are targeting nonprofits and advocates whose missions they politically disagree with. These intimidation tactics, while legally weak, fuel narratives that are not only dehumanizing, but also dangerous. And our community feels it every day. We feel the sorrow, we feel the grief and fear, and yes, on our darkest days, many of us feel the despair too. I felt it myself. But here's what I've come to realize. Despair takes hold when we stop believing in the possibility of change. And when I look around this room, when I see every single one of you, I'm reminded that we have not stopped believing. Despair would mean giving up on the future, giving up on each other, and that we will never do. Because we believe in young people. We believe in their right to safety, to joy, to being exactly who they are, and we believe in each other. When a loved one shares the weight they're carrying, we don't turn away. We hold space for them, and then we ask, how can I help shoulder the burden? That is exactly what we are doing today, and it's exactly what SMYAL does for LGBTQ+ youth every single day. When a young person walks into a therapy session, we make space for their whole story, for their fears, their hopes, their struggles. And we tell them, you don't have to carry this alone. When a resident is handed the keys to their very first apartment, we celebrate the milestone. We cheer their next steps, and we sit with them in anticipation of what lies ahead. When a parent calls and says, we want to tell our kids it will be okay, but we don't know if it will, we are there. Not to offer false promises, but to offer support as we move through the pain together. This is how trust is built, how connection is made, and how new beginnings are created. This work does not come with a roadmap. If it did, I'd be grateful. If you asked me 3 years ago where we would be here today, I couldn't tell you. What I can tell you, though, is that we won't ever stop. We won't stop until every queer youth in DC has the opportunity to thrive. Recently, I've been holding on to something Rumi once wrote. Clarity doesn't come before action, it comes with action. We learn by doing, by acting, even when things are uncertain. I think about this often as we continue to march towards our vision for queer and trans youth. Sometimes our path is a slog, sometimes a sprint. Sometimes we stumble, but sometimes we soar. And we never lose sight of moving forward together. At SMYAL, we choose courage. We choose to move and trust that clarity and impact will follow. This year, I've learned the best antidote to fear is community, and the best antidote to trauma is resilience. This room is my proof. Just look around. Together, we continue to build a world where queer and trans youth can survive and thrive, where fear becomes belonging, where grief becomes resilience, where hope takes shape and real opportunities for young people to live freely and fully. But resilience like this doesn't happen on its own. It happens because caring people like you choose to act. Your support today fuels all of this. It fuels the keys handed to a new resident. It fuels the therapist's open door. It fuels the joy of young leaders building community and dreaming boldly. Please, give generously, because your gift today is more than a donation. It's an act of courage. It's a statement of hope, and it's a promise that our youth are not alone. As we get ready to share a meal, let's bring us back to our shared table. Just like at my family's table, we make room. We pull up another chair, we pass the bread, we share the weight, and we remind each other there is more than enough love, more than enough courage, more than enough community to carry us forward. Thank you.